in a very compassionate way, talk to the person with the character disorder who has an inflated sense of ego, who feels they're entitled to more than they're entitled to, and who wants to control the situation. Talk to him and her. Find out what their problems are, what bothers them, and in a very gentle way, slowly lead up to their faults and their major mistakes and the suffering that they put you through. Have your friends and family chime in like a chorus through this part. Do it again and again. Sometimes the relationship will end, if it is a relationship, over this. And you, the meek person who is neurotic, will be very broken-hearted if it's a relationship. And there's a good chance that the next relationship you end up with will be in a person who's much the same, unfortunately, who's another character disorder person who is abusing you and dominating you too much. And you might, in fact, go through a whole series of these awful relationships, shedding each one because it becomes too adverse. You have to stick up for yourself and change your ways, if that is the case. And try not to be so gullible and so intimidated so easily. Stick up for yourself. Do your research. Talk to other people. Find out what they're up to. Tell them your problems. Get them to understand your side. Talk to the people. They or he or she, the intimidating person or force, tells you not to talk to. That's the person you should talk to, chances are. But do it discreetly when they don't know. And talk to lots of other people outside of your conflict entirely. And get their neutral judgment. And yet use their opinion heavily. Hopefully this will guide you through adverse situations and get you out of your current adverse relationship. Because you can do it. Remember, there are lots of people who are willing to help. Remember, you have more friends than you know. They will assist you. Pray for God for assistance and err on the side of caution. Now let's move to the next section. What is it? Well, we're going to go back to the imaginary territories and discuss what it is that makes them appealing. Sure, I guess to most of you all, it probably is pretty nonsensical and inane, a little silly, a little stupid, and probably boring. But for me, they're much different. For me, they're all the opposite. Their excitement, their dynamic, their joy, their energy, they're wonderful. Sure, at least for me, as I experience my imaginary territories. I could just tap into it, so to speak. Sure I can. Been able to for quite some time, I guess, for most of my life. So, tapping into this, feeling, well, my value system, and feeling that there's people on my side. Remember this section I just talked about, getting out of adverse relationships. There's people on your side, physically and metaphysically. There's people or beings or energies or angels or God or all of the above on your side on the spiritual metaphysical plane, ready to assist you. The imaginary territories at work. Sure, their actions are typically never noticed or seldom noticed, but that doesn't mean they're not there, and that doesn't mean they might have a profound effect on our lives. We're just unaware of it. That is my assumption. For certainly, we affect them, for there's nothing left. Remember, this is the spiritual realm here. There's no materiality, no body, no time. What have you got? Think about it. You don't have too much. You might have some memories of what your life was like, and you might have a sense of union with God, a sense of compassion and love, and all that. Sure. But what does that do? It helps generate your value system and helps generate who you are. Don't forget it. That's where you come from. That's where we all come from the womb of God, the womb of compassion and love. So, we have to remember that. And I guess that's where I feel all the love and joy and energy and all that stuff. And the sense that I'm not alone, that I have powerful forces working with me, not against me, because I'm on God's side, in theory. Of course, not all the time. I guess I'm astray against God plenty often too, of course. But I like to be optimistic, and I like to think that I'm on God's side, and vice versa. And perhaps with just that optimism might be enough to set me off in the right direction, and using the right value system too, that encourages compassion and love, wisdom, kindness, justice, and in fairness, and sharing of information and non-deception. Where other value systems might be more deceptive, might be such that they encourage taking advantage of people and encourage to do everything for your sense of pride and your personal wealth. Well, that's not always where it's at, of course. And your fame and your social status. It's not all what it comes down to. No, it's not you. It's the exact opposite. It comes down to everyone else. Think about it. You are just an individual. Everyone else is the world. Minus you. So, wouldn't you rather have everything go better for them, everybody else, instead of everything going better for you and your inflated ego and your excessive pride and your excessive sense of entitlement to money, position, fame, or whatever you're after? Perhaps you need to limit all that. Remember, you're entitled to nothing. Remember, farewell. You always could say goodbye, in theory, to almost anything. If you're like that, and then that makes you more powerful. Why? Because you can adjust to changing situations better. Where people who feel they are entitled will suffer more when situations change and they lose what they're entitled to and they have to give up what they love. If you're ready to give it up mentally, emotionally, it will be a little easier when it comes.
Casey Waters Show. Producer, Casey Waters. Graphic editing, Judson Laird. Please note our new email address, CaseyWaters2 @CaseyWaters.com.